welcome to the channel for my Premier League predictions. Game week 26, game week 25, Chelsea losing 3-0 against Brighton, Manchester City beating Newcastle United by 4-0 was nothing but a statement result. Liverpool got the needed victory and Manchester United also fall short in the hands of Tottenham Hotspurs. Going into this game of 26, I'm looking out for spot-on predictions. My name is Andy Finer. Without wasting much of your time, let's get into the game of 26 predictions. Yeah, so before we get into the game week 26 predictions, there's one game coming up which is between Aston Villa versus Liverpool. This is a match from the game week 29, but this match will be played before even game week 26 fixtures. So going into this game at Villa Park, Aston Villa hosting Liverpool. They are coming from a victory over Wolves in their last game. Going into this game at Villa Park is going to be a tough game for Aston Villa. Even though Aston Villa hasn't been on a good form, going into this game at Villa Park would be an interesting game to call. Going into this game, you know what it is? I'm predicting Liverpool to get a narrow victory over Aston Villa. I'm predicting a 2-1 victory for Liverpool. Liverpool 2, Aston Villa 1. Yeah, so moving on to the game with 26 fixtures. The first game coming on Friday at the King Power Stadium is between Leicester City versus Brentford. Leicester going into this game in game of 25, Leicester City lost 2-0 against Arsenal, which I think in that game, Leicester really played well, but Arsenal got the last minute win. They get 2 goals in the last 10 minutes of the game and Arsenal won that game by 2-0. But I think Leicester was impressive in that game, and if they continue playing the same way, I think they are going to get the results against Brentford. Looking at Brentford going into this game, so far as it stands on the Premier League table, they are 11th with 34 points. And Leicester City too, at the moment, they are 18th with 17 points as it stands in game 26. This is going to be a tough game. You know, Friday night football comes with surprises. And I'll not be shocked if Leicester get a result over Brentford. So going into this game, I'm predicting a 2-1 victory for Leicester City. Leicester City 2, Brentford 1. Yeah, so moving on to the next game on Saturday, which will be an early kickoff, is between Everton versus Manchester United. Everton going to this game at the Goodison Park in game 26 is going to be an interesting game. Looking at the league table, Everton is ahead of Manchester United on the league table with 30 points, and Manchester United too is 15th with 29 points. Going into this game is going to be an interesting game. In game week 25, Manchester United lost 1-0 against Tottenham Hotspurs. And Everton too coming into this game, they are coming with full confidence, and this is a home game. I know in recent games that Everton played against Liverpool, which was a derby game, I loved how Everton were able to hold their grounds and they were able to get a result against Liverpool. But facing a Manchester United team who is not confident enough to win games, and well, let me talk about this Manchester United attack. Whenever I'm watching Manchester United, I feel like this team don't know even how to score a goal, and it's shocking. Look at players like Rasmus Højlund, and they have all these quality players, but still Manchester United can't even score a goal. And it's interesting. Going into this game at Goodison Park in game 26 is going to be an interesting one, and I'm predicting Everton to get a narrow victory over Manchester United. I'm predicting Everton 1, Manchester United 0. Yeah, so moving on to the next game is between AFC Bournemouth versus Wolves. This match coming on in game 26 is going to be an interesting game. In game 25, Wolves lost their game against Liverpool, and AFC Bournemouth also got victory in game 25. Looking at the league table, AFC Bournemouth at the moment, they are 5th on the Premier League table with 43 points, and Wolves too at the moment, they are also 17th on the Premier League table with 19 points as it stands in game 25. This is going to be a crucial game. Bournemouth really want to qualify for Champions League or Europa League football next season. This is a game that they must at least get all the 3 maximum points against Wolves, who is also fighting against relegation. This is where the interesting fact lies. I think Wolves is going to claim a point against AFC Bournemouth in this game. Going to this game, I'm predicting a 2-2 draw. AFC Bournemouth 2, Wolves 2. Yes, so moving on to the next game is between Ipswich Town versus Tottenham Hotspur. And Tottenham Hotspur also got a 1-0 victory over Manchester United in game 25. Looking at the Premier League table, Tottenham Hotspur at the moment, they are 12th on the Premier League table with 5, and Ipswich Town too, they are also 18th on the Premier League table with 17 points as it stands in game 25. Going to this game at Ipswich Town home is going to be an interesting game. In their first encounter, Ipswich Town managed to get a victory over Tottenham at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So Ipswich Town playing home this time around too. I will not be surprised if Ipswich Town managed to get points or even get a point in this game against Tottenham, because Tottenham this season, they have not been all that good, to be frank with you. Even though Tottenham is a big team, facing this small team, they struggle to even get points against small team. That's why Tottenham is 12. So going to this game, Ipswich Town versus Tottenham Hotspur, to be frank with you, I'm going for a straight win for Tottenham Hotspur because I was impressed with their performance against Manchester United. Even though this can be a shocking game, but well, I'm predicting Tottenham Hotspur to get a 3-1 victory over Ipswich Town. Tottenham Hotspur 3, Ipswich Town 1. Yes, moving on to the next game at the St. Mary's Stadium is between Southampton versus Brighton. In game 25, Brighton won their game 3-0 against Chelsea, and Southampton also lost the game. But so far, as it stands, looking at the league table, Brighton at the moment, they are 10th on the Premier League table with 37 points, and Southampton too is at the bottom, 20th on the Premier League table with 9 points as it stands in game 25. This is going to be a crucial game for Brighton if they also want to get European football next season. This is a must-win game for Brighton. And going to this game, we all know Southampton keep losing back-to-back Premier League games, and this will be an unfortunate one for them too. And I'm predicting Brighton to get a 4-1 victory over Southampton. Brighton 4, Southampton 1. Yes, moving on to the next game at the Emirates Stadium is between Arsenal versus West Ham United. Looking at the Premier League table at the moment, Arsenal is second with 53 points as it stands in game 25. West Ham United too, they are also 14th on the Premier League table with 27 points as it stands in game 25. Going to this game in game 26 is going to be an interesting clash at the Emirates Stadium. In the first leg, Arsenal got a victory over West Ham at the London Stadium. I'm not sure West Ham United is going to prove any point, because even though Arsenal is going through a lot of injury crisis with the likes of Gabriel Jesus, Bukayo Saka, Kai Havertz, all these their top strikers or their top players are on injury. Even though they have Graham Potter as their new coach, I don't think West Ham United is going to claim a point against Arsenal. And going to this game, I'm predicting Arsenal to get a 2-0 victory over West Ham United at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal 2, West Ham United 0. Yes, moving on to the next game is between Fulham versus Crystal Palace. This match coming on in game 26 is going to be an interesting one. Looking at both teams, Fulham at the moment, they are 8th on the Premier League table with 37 points as it stands in game 25. Looking at Crystal Palace too, they are also 13th on the Premier League table with 30 points as it stands in game 25. Going to this game in game week 26 is going to be an interesting and a difficult one to call, and I'm sitting on the tie. I'm predicting this game to end in a 2-2 draw. Fulham to Crystal Palace 2. Yes, moving on to the next game at the Villa Park is between Aston Villa versus Chelsea. Chelsea in game week 25 lost 3-0 against Brighton, which in that game, I was shocked. Chelsea in their game against Brighton, I was mesmerized. I was confused. I was frustrated. It was a terrible, a very disastrous result. And the performance of the day was very, very bad. And it's not up to Chelsea standard. Come on. How can a whole Chelsea fall short like this? What is the essence of buying all Brighton good and quality players if you can't still beat them? Well, let's get into it. Chelsea going into this game against Aston Villa in game week 26. I'm looking out for a very comfortable result because if Chelsea really want to qualify for Champions League football or even get top 4 this season, then they must win this game against Aston Villa. Looking at Manchester City, who is also now 4th on the Premier League table, if Chelsea really want to chase for top 4, then this is a must-win game. And Enzo Maresca, Cole Palmer, and the whole team, you can't afford to drop points against Aston Villa. So this is a must-win game for Chelsea. If you drop points in this game against Aston Villa, Enzo Maresca, just take it that this is the end of your Chelsea career. We can't accept it. Well, going into this game, Aston Villa too will be coming from their game against Liverpool. So this will be a tough game for Aston Villa against Chelsea in game week 26. And going into this game, I'm predicting Chelsea to get a 2-1 result against Aston Villa. Chelsea 2, Aston Villa 1. Yes, moving on to the next game at the St. James Park is between Newcastle United versus Nottingham Forest. Looking at Newcastle United so far on the league table, they are 7th with 41 points as it stands in game 25. Nottingham Forest too at the moment, they are also 3rd on the Premier League table with 47 points as it stands in game 25. Going to this game at the St. James Park in game 26, I'm looking out for a very tough and interesting game. Even though Newcastle lost their game in game 25 against Manchester City, which they lost 4-0. In that game, I felt Newcastle could have done better, but they lost 4-0 and it was shocking. I know my good friend, Mr. Footballer Luz, wasn't happy with this kind of performance and the results against Manchester City. Well, and Nottingham Forest to go into this game, I'm sure Nottingham Forest is pushing hard to at least get a Champions League football. So this is going to be an interesting and a very difficult afternoon. And to predict this game, maybe I have to sit on a tie. I'm predicting this game to end in a 2-2 draw. Newcastle United 2, Nottingham Forest 2. Yes, and moving on to the game of the week in Premier League, game week 26 is no other than Manchester City versus Liverpool, the reigning champions and versus the current league leaders. This is how tough it could be. I mean, Premier League back-to-back battles. You know, now that Manchester City got a 4-0 victory in game 25 against Newcastle United, they are picking up momentum. And if they are able to manage to get a result against Liverpool, Arsenal, Nottingham Forest, all the teams above them, I'm sorry, they are coming for you. And this is going to be a tough game. Even though at the moment, Liverpool is on top of the Premier League table with 60 points as it stands in game 25. And before this game, they would have played their game against Aston Villa. So maybe it could be 63 or 61. However it is, Liverpool going to the Etihad Stadium against Manchester City is going to be tough. It's going to be cracker. It's going to be one of the best games you can ever look out for in the Premier League calendar. And this is a must-win game for both Liverpool and Manchester City. If City really want to also get top 4, even though this season has been shocking, this is a must-win, or this is a game that they will need either a point or all the 3 maximum points. And Liverpool too, the way Arsenal is chasing them on the league table, I think Liverpool will do their possible best to win it all. And going into this game, I'm predicting a straight win for Liverpool. I'm predicting a 2-1 victory for Liverpool. Liverpool 2, Manchester City 1. Yes, so these are my predictions for Premier League Game Week 26. I know you're waiting for it and you can't wait for you to see your team winning. My name is Andy Final. My like target for this video is just 100 likes. Like, comment your thoughts and your predictions at the comment section without wasting much of your time. Until we meet in another video, bye bye for now.